Welcome to Ink 2 Video. We make books into visual stories.
Meet Vardha. He has a beautiful home, a loving family, and a decent job. But if you look closely, you'll notice a problem. He is physically sitting at this dinner table, but mentally he is completely somewhere else. While his kids are laughing over dessert, Vardha's brain is busy calculating next month's electricity bill. Or it's replaying a frustrating argument he had with a coworker 3 days ago, mapping out all the clever things he should have said. The result is a constant, low-level hum anxiety. It's a quiet exhaustion that never quite goes away, driven by the persistent belief that if he can just cross one more item off his to-do list or get through one more stressful week, then he'll finally be allowed to feel happy. Merely surviving a normal Tuesday leaves us drained, because our minds act like addicted time travelers. They obsessively sprint into the future or drag us back into the past, flat out refusing to stay right here in the present moment. This brings us to a philosopher named Eckhart Tolle. In his book, The Power of Now, Tolle presents an idea that forces people like Vardha to stop and examine exactly what is happening inside their own heads. Tolle points out a surprisingly obvious truth. Nothing has ever actually happened in the past, and nothing will ever happen in the future. Life, in its entirety, only ever unfolds in the now. Look at this timeline. If we dissolve away our concepts of yesterday and tomorrow, what we're left with is a single glowing point of reality. The past is nothing more than a memory stored in your brain. The future is just an imagined expectation. Only the present exists. That constant narrating voice inside your head, Tolle argues that it is merely a tool. It is a survival mechanism you use to navigate the physical world. It is not your actual identity. Once Vardha grasps this, the source of his exhaustion becomes clear. His profound unhappiness isn't caused by his life. It is caused entirely by his unobserved, runaway thoughts about his life. To see how this plays out in the real world, let's put Vardha in one of modern life's most universally aggravating situations: dead-stop traffic. He's gripping the wheel, fuming, feeling the minutes of his life ticking away into nothing. This intense frustration awakens what Tolle calls the pain body. This is an accumulation of past emotional residue, old grievances and irritations that wakes up and actively feeds on the drama of the current moment. Modern neuroscience actually shows us the mechanics of this misery. This brain schematic highlights the default mode network, or DMN. Think of it as the brain's autopilot system. The DMN aggressively activates whenever your mind wanders away from a specific task. If you start to ruminate on a mistake from yesterday, or worry about a meeting tomorrow, this network fires up, pulling you out of the present. When the DMN runs unchecked, it signals your adrenal glands to flood your bloodstream with cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Brain imaging studies consistently link a highly active DMN to higher levels of clinical unhappiness. Our brains evolved to constantly scan the horizon for danger, keeping us alive by anticipating threats. But in the modern world, this evolutionary default setting becomes a glitch. It traps us in a perpetual loop of stress over things we cannot control. To break that loop, Vardha applies a software patch. He starts with a simple, mind-watching check-in. Sitting in his unmoving car, he actively turns his attention inward and simply notices the angry, complaining voice in his head. By doing this, he makes a critical realization. If he is able to observe the anger, then he must be the observer. He is not the anger itself. Next, he uses a technique called sensory grounding to force his brain out of the imagined future and back into the physical car. He names 5 things he sees, 4 things he can touch, and 3 things he hears right in that exact moment. Psychologists use this exact method in what is called mindfulness-based stress reduction, a clinical therapy designed to treat anxiety. By actively anchoring attention to the physical senses, you override the default mode network, which rapidly drops cortisol levels and halts the stress response. Finally, Vardha practices surrender. Before he tries to find an alternate route or punch the steering wheel, he simply accepts the undeniable isness of the situation. He tells himself, "I am stuck in traffic. This is what is happening right now." The physical delay hasn't changed. he is still going to be late. But by accepting the present moment exactly as it is, the internal resistance, the secondary layer of misery, simply stops. The immediate result is a quiet clarity. When Vardha finally pulls into his office parking lot, he arrives calm and energized, rather than exhausted from a 30-minute fight with reality. This focus carries over into his professional life. By attending only to the task directly in front of him, the ego recedes, allowing for flow state, where peak performance happens without forced effort. He brings this same mechanic home. When his spouse tells him about their day, Vardha practices deep listening. He offers 100% of his attention, completely pausing the mental machinery that tries to plan what he's going to say next. Over time, his chronic anxiety fades. It starves without the fuel of future tripping. He stops staring at the impossible mountain of work ahead of him and simply takes the single manageable step right where his feet are. He realizes that peace and connection are not trophies waiting for you at the finish line of a 10-year career plan. They are the direct, immediate result of engaging fully with the journey itself. Tolle's teachings all point back to one inescapable rule. The present moment is the only place where life actually happens. The future you are constantly chasing is a ghost, a projection rendered entirely inside your own mind. To truly live, you have to recognize the sheer insanity of creating inner resistance to a reality that already exists. Fighting the now is like fighting gravity. It only exhausts the person fighting it.
So here is a question for you. Right now, in this exact second, ignore your past regrets, ignore your future projects. Is there anything actually wrong with this specific moment? Each time Vardha chooses the present over a mental projection, he weakens the grip of the time traveler mind. This practice turns his internal chaos into a sanctuary, proving that emotional freedom is available the moment you stop resisting what already is.
Don't just watch the story. Be part of it. Ink it. Imagine it. Live it with Ink2 Video. Like if it hit you. Subscribe to stay in the story loop. Share it with someone who loves visuals.